Well, hello, and thank you for coming to class. In this video, I'm going to look at how to graph one of these, how to graph a linear equation or linear function using a t-table. So a t-table looks something like this. There you go. And you're going to have a column for x's and a column for y's. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose some values for x. They can be any numbers. I usually use smaller numbers. So, I'll use 0, -1, maybe 1 and 2. And there's going to be a nice little pattern over here for the y values. So this method, it's not the best method. I'll show you the better method in another video. But this method can be used to graph many functions, all right? Quadratics, exponentials, which we'll talk about sometime down the road, probably in Algebra 2. It's kind of a caveman method, this is. So we're going to plug in -1 for x, and we're going to get a y value back. So 3 times -1 plus 2. 3 times -1 is -3. -3 plus 2 is equal to -1. So y equals -1. Now this is a solution to this equation. There's actually an infinite number of solutions because whatever you choose for x will determine y. Like x is the independent variable, y is the dependent. And so you wind up with an infinite number of solutions. Let's plug in 0 for x. 3 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 2 is 2. Let's plug in 1 for x. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Let's plug in 2 for x. I might be able to use this one. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8. Now, what these are all solutions to this equation, but we're going to graph the solutions. All right, we're going to graph it on a little XY coordinate grid. So what these represent, besides solutions, is they represent ordered pairs. -1 for x, -1 for y. 0 for x, 2 for y. X comma y. And we're just going to plot these points, and that's how we're going to graph it. So -1, -1, one left, one down, right there. 0, 2, 0 to the left and right, and up 2. This one's actually an important one. Let's do 1 comma 5. So 1 comma 5. Yeah, and this one, the 2 comma 8, it's too far up the graph. I won't be able to graph it. But these 3 points are going to make up the graph for our line. Let me try to connect them. This part doesn't matter too much to me. But let me see if I can do this. Yeah, every point on this line, so this one right here, this -2, -4, every point represents a solution for this equation. So -2, -4, if you were to plug that in for x, -2 and -4 for y, it will satisfy this equation. All right. Oh yeah, another thing I need to point out, which we'll talk about more in the next video, is the slope of this line. Sure, it's positive. Let's figure out the slope. This and that one, we're going to count 1, 2, 3 units up and 1 unit over. So we get 3 over 1, or 3. That's our m, our slope. Notice that's the number that's attached to the x out here. Now the 2, what that is your y-intercept here. All right, so 0 to the left and right, and up 2, that was our starting point. That was our y-intercept. All right, I'm going to hurry up and graph another one real quick. All right, y equals -1/2 x minus 4. This time, I'm actually going to stick with even numbers for x. I'm going to do -2, 0, 2, and 4. All right, plugging in -2 for x. You can use a calculator for this if you want. Negative and a negative is positive. Half of 2 is equal to 1. And 1 minus 4 is -3. So -2, -3 is one of the points on my graph. -2, -3. I probably should have swapped these up. It's in between -2 and -4 there. Plugging in 0 for x, you'll get -1/2 times 0. That cancels. And so you're just left with -4. All right, so 0, -4 is right there. Plug in 2 for x. Okay, -1/2 times 2 is -1. -1 minus 4 is -5. So we get 2 comma -5, which is 2 to the right and down 5, so about right there. And let's look at the last one here, plugging in 4 for x. Okay, -1/2 times 4, it's going to be -half of 4. That's 2. So -2 minus 4 is -6. And notice the pattern here, -3, -4, -5. So as you're going up by 2 on the x's, the y's are going down by 1. Okay, that's a little pattern there you got to look for. It's always helpful to notice those. So 4, -6, 4, -6. And notice all these little points are going in a nice straight line. Yeah, notice your y-intercept, 0, -4. You probably can't tell because the graph is all funky, but the slope is -1/2. It's going, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. I think that's good for this one. Yeah, in the next video, I will show you the better way.